All right. So, Jeremy. Okay, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. No, fuck that is the perfect introduction. It's just fuck the norms and fuck, being a standard member of society.
Dude, I just feel so free talking to you right now. Like, I'm not even fucking, like, reviewing something with you, dude. I'm just existing however I want to exist right now.
I was a Peloponnesian peasant that was transmitted into America through, like, the essence of life. I just was summoned here. And then I decided, oh, you know what I want to experience? I want to experience someone who's making a movie review. So I just forced myself to make this movie review just to have that life experience.
You know what I think I'll do? I think I'll just drive down to like a local restaurant and just pretend to be a waiter. I'll just go up to people's chairs or tables and be like, "So, what do you guys are gonna have? I'm a waiter here."
You're gonna drive down there? Fuck that.
No, I'm gonna ride my bike.
I'm gonna swim through my boat. I'm so fucking hipster and out of touch that I'm in my boat. I'm gonna put an inflatable swimming pool and I'm gonna fill it up in my boat and swim in that instead of the ocean outside my boat.
Dude,
while I fucking have an emotional moment with some hot chick where no genuine emotion is exchanged between either of us because there's no real connection between our fucking fake presented hipster personas.
You know what we should do? Instead of talking, let's just sit and stare at each other for a really long amount of time.
Yeah, and let's just, like, introduce some, like, train of thought that's, like, quirky and slow-paced because it's just, like, our thoughts are so methodical and just, like, interested in the introspective aspects of society and just, like, the weird, norms that we decide to ignore and our unique take on this slice of life we call existence.
Dude, it's not even a slice of life to me. It's just life. It's just whatever I want to be that day. I don't even think about it like all you fucking, normies, you normies as I call you. I just go out and I just am myself.
No, it still has to be progressive. Even though he's supposed to represent this visceral, just unadulterated experience of life, he still has to try and be a positive character. He still is like, oh, well, I'm going to care about minorities. I'm going to, like, show how much I care about minorities. But, dude, like... Oh, God, I liked Tim Heidecker. I liked him.
I honestly really liked him and Eric. Eric, it doesn't even really matter. He had such a bit part in the movie, but...
I could still watch their shit, but this is a fucking... It's a hole in my heart. I'm going to need some time to heal.
Palate cleanser.
I'm going to need some time to heal. And every time I go to sleep, I'm going to be afraid that some faggot is going to touch my unconscious body, rub his fucking... gay fingers all over my brow while he just thinks about, like, this is life. This is me.
It'll just be me combing your hair.
As long as it's you, I'm fine.
Because it's not ironic or hipstery then, it's just true love.
Where should we start? On the beginning?
Okay, here's what I want to start with. Fuck Rick Alverson. He's a director, hipster faggot.
Rick the director and the writers, whatever. This is my opinion on them. From a couple scenes, as in, like, one scene was the fucking interview, which was just so perfect, where the guy interviewing Tim says, do you know how, can you scrub really hard? Can you scrub really hard? Like, the person who made this movie or directed it or whatever has never had a job interview, is some rich fucking out-of-touch hipster, and just assumed that that's the kind of question. So out of touch. When you take out the trash, do you tie it up real tight? Oh, good, right. That's good. That's the kind of employee we need around here.
We both have shitty jobs. They don't ask questions like, do you scrub hard?
When you get a plate and you're drying it, do you, like, dry it in like, real well? Yeah? Okay, you know what? He's answering all these questions perfectly. He's the perfect employer. I love her. I love him. No, not him, not her. He's just it. He's just a fucking entity of pure... He's the entity of pure life, just pure unadulterated life, and I'm just gonna fuck him now. Just gonna have a gay little dance party where I just show off how fucking uninhibited I am.
I hated the way everyone just basked in his essence.
There's those scenes were awful. The scene with the nurse, the scene with that chick where he has his little smooch and then the emotional head lean.
That was the one. What the fuck was that? It's supposed to be his brother's wife. and they go out and she doesn't even like him. And well, at least she wouldn't think so because she has like 4 lines.
No, every every person who doesn't like him loves him in the end.
Then they just drive out, or they go out on his fucking boat, and then he just stops in the middle of the fucking ocean, and then she just doesn't even look at him. Then they share a kiss, and then he just holds her. What the fuck was that bullshit? Why did they try to make it an emotional thing? The character is so shallow and unlikable, which I think he wasn't intentionally unlikable, but the character is so not a character. And it has no depth at all. That why would they have an emotional moment? And if there would be one, it's not explained in any way because they don't have any development.
The out of touch faggot hipster is he just thinks that that's how an interaction should be. That like. What the like those horrible silences where they just like people just witness Tim's character. They just stand witness to him as he goes on about how whatever gay shit he's talking about, just spewing this like supposed to be poetic justice and like just awesomely ironic humor of his as he's just free and uninhibited, just free and wild like a wild man in our fucking modern world with all these rules that he just chooses not to abide by. Well, normal people have jobs to go to, real jobs, not your fucking faggot hipster ideas of a job. And also real people have a confrontation. Like if someone's being a faggot to you, then you're not just gonna stand there. I understand if like some people might choose to ignore it or like be silent, but no one's gonna stand there and be silent that long to make it that dramatic. And also, as much as you might think life is beautiful, and sure, like you can genuinely have these interesting like just it seems so genuine. Something like, honestly, like you might be at some place with your friend, and some kids start playing around with, like just not playing near you or something, and like you have some genuine moment with the kids, and then the parents are like shitty, they take them away or whatever, and it's like that was kind of interesting, or like you're at a park or something interesting happens, but life is dull and fucking filled with shitty things that you have to deal with, and no one can be this person who just lives everything in just pure existence. It's awful. I hate this idea that the hipster faggot who just this is how I want to live. This is how people should live. This idea that a character would just force experiences on himself by like taking over people's positions in life to experience life. That's not real life. All of life's experiences are not occupations and fucking like basically occupations. All he does is steal occupations and touch unconscious people.
I want to touch on one big theme of the movie that I think most people that like the movie would be really impressed by, is how every character is constantly sarcastic. And I think that has a big part of that is, how everyone, like all these girls, will think like I'm so sarcastic, or I speak sarcasm or whatever.
Right.
And how it's supposed to be like cute to be sarcastic. I think this movie, I don't think that they were trying to make the characters cute, but I think they were trying to show like how interesting it is to be an ironic faggot hipster all the time. Like,
why were they all so unabashedly hipster? It was so fucking unabashedly hipster.
It was glorifying it, absolutely.
Exactly, that I wanted to fucking vomit in so many scenes. Every chick was such a, like, all these hot chicks who are all dressed like hipsters, and they're all so into Tim and his gang. Dude, I understand having a genuine experience and like having a genuine moment in life can be like really interesting and fulfilling, but seeking it out by acting like some fucking faggot, like some like so introspective, just constantly seeking, just trying to be so interesting, and just like grabbing a shovel and it all going perfectly for him. Fuck that. That is not real life. That movie does not display real life, real interactions, real consequences. People don't just love you when you try out your fucking, I'm going to just force an experience right now, and I'm just going to grab a shovel and start helping these people, or I'm just going to go into this, predominantly black club and start talking to people. They do not just unanimously react well, and you're not just unanimously safe in every position just because you're such a beautiful, special person who just seeks life. You're right. I'm not doing it right. I'm not wearing enough fucking collared plaid shirts
with shorts that don't cover your thigh.
Right.
I want to talk about that fucking ditch digging, not ditch digging, but like plant digging scene. It's the way they
The
introduced
ditch
it,
digging scene was after I watched the movie where I dug a hole for my death.
and then and your family says, "Get in the hole, Jeremy." And see, that was from
That's
something
good.
good they did.
Exactly, because it didn't take itself seriously, and actually,
was
that was
funny.
more real than this.
That is more. I believe that would happen over this movie, but
Exactly.
that scene where they were fucking digging, like all those Mexican guys were digging at some like rich people's house to put plants in. He just goes up. He's like, "Hey, now he's like, he's just doing. I take over people's jobs." But the liberal ideals they make the character have is so stupid.
Right.
He talks to the fucking like rich people, like even though he's a rich fucking hipster, like child of wealth or of privilege or whatever, he still tries to he does what every liberal hipster fucking does. Where I'm gonna have both. I'm gonna be the working class and I'm gonna be the rich. And
That's exactly what these out of touch rich hipsters wanted to portray. Their ideals. They're like the people who produce these rich faggot hipsters were completely out of touch with the actual human interaction. They just wanted to make this character that showed that you can be a beautiful hipster rich piece of shit and also be a person of like great character and just a person who like this is their only way to live, in their opinion. Like this is how people should live their lives.
That scene is so fucking stupid. I hate the character so. I hate the director more than anything. But the way they tried to make him so like free, like we've said many times, and make him so like I just exist in whatever way I want to be. But
whatever I want to be, I'm gonna be it right now.
Try to make him like complex and everything, but they still give him this fucking liberal bullshit. Like how he's just so bothered by the rich people not liking the idea of the Mexicans in their pool, which honestly makes perfect sense.
And boy, does he have an opinion on feudalism and socialism.
That was so stupid. Fucking party talk is boring anyway, especially when it's a bunch of fucking hipsters.
And dude, the camera work was even the camera work managed to be hipster. With like so many of these shots were fucking zoom in on their faces, their awful, pathetic neckbeards, and just zoom in on their faces. They do
all have neckbeards,
right?
They do.
Zoom in on their faces, and then their arm hair, and the fucking the glasses, and the fingers, and just so hipster. And it's always got some awful hipster music playing softly in the background.
That was one of the worst fucking parts about the movie.
It was torture. It was fucking torture. Another example of out of touch, just hipster nonsense, is them all going to a Catholic church where there are like 3 Mexican people just sitting there, sitting at like in the seats because they're so out of touch with humanity that they think people just go to these religious places and just sit down and do absolutely nothing. So then they start focusing on these characters and how weird they're being in church and completely abandon the reaction of those other people because the hipster faggots are just so obsessed with their characters they completely forgot to introduce what could have been an interesting reaction, or at least part of the scene, which was their reaction. But no. And just fucking that chick, that prostitute that not the prostitute, but he calls her a prostitute, and of course she just attacks the taxi driver for no reason.
And him running away was used in the ads like, what's going on here? Nothing happened. He runs away consequence-free with a dumbass smile on his face.
I think it's time we talk about the scene that made us stop making fun of it, that made us no longer enjoy ripping on it, and just go silent with just fucking horror.
My heart can't take recounting it.
We have to recount it for the archives.
Before we recount that, let's recount what preceded it. Was when he's fucking like brushing his beard and like sticking his toothbrush up his nose, and the girl that previously hated him slowly starts liking him, and someone is at my door.
Anyways, just him brushing, like, honestly, this is what a lot of movies suffer from. They take a moment in real life that is just like funny on its own, and then they put it in a movie, and because it's been planned out and put in there intentionally, it's no longer funny. That sort of humor doesn't work at all. It's really awful when it's put into a movie. Like, if I did something like that while I was brushing my teeth to my friend or something like that, it could be funny. But doing it to some chick and having it be like written into the movie is so awful.
And
it's
her
just,
thinking it's cute and like, oh, he's just so silly. It's
Right.
awful.
And she was a shitty actor, by the way, in her first confrontation where they're going back and forth, and she's giving her like her little witty comebacks that are just their dialogue written into it, but she's got like a wavering fucking wimpy voice. Ugh.
No, to be honest, I'm really taken out of this now because of that fucking pork roast. But
and well, he's just, you gotta keep your mind off the pork roast. I know you're just thinking about it succulentating.
I don't even know what a pork roast is.
Succulating, succulent. Rib.
I thought you said that on purpose.
But let's finish it up with that. He's just getting all into doing this gay little quirky humor. Where, ooh, what's this? Ooh, this zipper, it comes undone. I'm such a quirky, like, oh, this is how hipsters make love. We're not all suave. We're quirky and interesting. And we're funny even when we're about to make passionate love. And then she fucking has a seizure, and just this fascinating character they make just sits there and watches her, and then she's completely fine, completely fine
at all.
Right. That's not interesting, especially how it's set up with this gay dialogue. If he was some character who's out of touch and like disillusioned, but he's not. He's shown to be this character who's in complete control, and then in this scene he's just like, I don't give a shit.
A completely content character isn't interesting.
Right. And dude, that could be a good scene if it was some character who was disillusioned and she had some seizure because of drugs and he just had no idea what to do, so he just sat there looking at her. But no, he sat there just so content, like, this.
Because he just doesn't care, because in this moment I'm going to be the guy who doesn't care in this moment.
No, dude, he sat there looking at her seizing and he was like, this is life. I will watch it happen before me. And then it ends it on him playing with the little kid at a beach, which would just not happen without the parents freaking out.
It doesn't have an ending. The movie is just him splashing water on the kid and the kid acting like a kid. I hate it when movies don't have endings, but like you said, when I said it didn't have an ending, you said it doesn't have a beginning, which it doesn't. It doesn't have a
beginning.
Middle.
Yeah, no beginning, no middle, no end. No plot, no development, just here's this interesting character, and here's our fucking hipster ideals on how people should live. Oh, God, the Pabst Blue Ribbon and the bikes. Dear God. Awful.
Also, when the chick's on his boat with him and their gay little way of flirting, like, hey, I better take my sweater off, and the way she just completely goes along with it, I mean, it sucks. It's like I said, it's like the way a 14-year-old will try and get a girl to take her clothes off. It's fucking awful. And why does every chick like him? Honestly, it's not believable. He's not an attractive guy. I mean,
chicks are more shallow than that. Not every chick is this quirky, coy, like, hipster girl who's gonna like some guy who's unattractive and just uncharismatic. They'll still you know what? Hipster chicks go for these faggot buff guys with gauges who just act like they just have no personality at all. By him
like
even having
long-haired faggot-looking guys.
Right. By him having a personality, I'll buy a fucking atrocious personality. He still couldn't get a chick because he would have tried to express himself in some genuine way, and she would have been like, "Oh, why? Maybe I don't want to fuck you."
She wouldn't have even spoken to him, honestly. He would have had to fucking rape her or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that scene was so unbelievable. Like, she's so into him at that party, talking about, like, socialism.
That's a different chick. I mean, this isn't even the same chick. There's 3 chicks that get so into him.
I hate it, man. I hate it.
And, you know, we are Tim and Eric fans, and not just of the show. Like, we watch a lot of their shit.
I have the fucking podcast, the download on my thing. We've watched, like, the On Cinema shit, all of the bedtime stories, the fucking movies, the specials, every episode of their show. It's just...
And Tom Goes to the Mayor. I don't know how much you've seen of that, but I also used to watch Tom Goes to the Mayor a lot.
Dude, Alvarez directed that.
Alverson, I think. Also,
I wish this movie got Rangoed. It would have been a better movie.
Got what now?
Rangoed?
What the hell is that?
I sent you that video, but Tim does this interview where he talks about at Sundance, he's really disappointed because they Rangoed his movie. Remember that movie Rango?
Oh yeah.
of the lizard cartoon.
Yeah, I do.
He was making some joke in the interview he was pretending that they Rango'd his film at Sundance and kept intersplicing films of film footage of Rango throughout his movie, completely taking out parts and splicing in Rango bits into his movie as if that actually happened, and it was funny.
The way they ruin interviews is funny, you know.
Yeah, dude, that like, it's just they this hipster way of portraying what life, how, like, look at how this character made life so real. Like, it's you can just tell it's from some rich, out of touch hipster, because none of the things, like riding a bike, drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, that does not make life more real. Like,
Pabst Blue Ribbon is for like 16-year-olds trying to get drunk.
Anything you can do in fucking developed urban New York is not gonna be real life. That's still gonna be the way fucking 2.5% of people live. You're still living within the like fucking capitalistic possibilities of like what these privileged 2.5% people in the world get to live like.
They are the 1%.
Well, the guys who fucking wrote it are the 1%. But that's the thing, 1% of America. That's the 1% of America that developed this film. The 1% of the world? Like, no, they're like the 0.05% of the world out of all the fucking impoverished...
Not even that.
Impoverished people dying, the people who work dead-end shifts, the people who have to go to work as a goat inseminator, or fucking, you know... Just
or
all
like
these
work at the 76 gas station.
Or who have to fucking clean septic tanks, like all these like shitty things you could do, all these like people who live in islands in like impoverished, you know, huts, and like that, just that, like, if he wants to experience real life, why the fuck is he going around New York City getting different people's jobs? Everyone is so fake in that city, you can't expand your experience by you know, forcing yourself on different situations in New York City. Give me a fucking break. That's not real life. There's nothing genuine about this piece of horseshit movie.
Also, like, I want to critique the directing style. I don't like how you said, the constant zoom-ins on the faces, and also it would just have like half a plot point, and then it would just cut to something else. Everything would just cut to something else. Every scene was pointless, and Greg Turkington had no point in being in that movie. He was in 2 scenes, and they did nothing with his character.
Well, that's just what happens when you meet up with your bros and talk.
I think they just wanted to have Greg Turkington in the movie because he knew Tim and Eric. I mean, every scene could have been a deleted scene. Every single fucking scene.
Oh, absolutely.
It was like a compilation of deleted scenes.
That's the perfect way to describe it. This movie is a compilation of deleted scenes from a really awful movie.
You know, I would have rather watched the really awful movie the scenes were deleted from. I mean, because...
Where something happened there. I don't know. The character's so awful, man.
Nothing happens through the entire movie. Nothing, like, some shit kind of halfway happens and then it just ends.
Because it's it's supposed to be artistic. Look at him experiencing life. Look at the way he lives. Look at this vision we're presenting. It's art. It's not a story. It's not plot. This is art. This is the way life is. This is life. A
movie with no conflict and no plot and no direction and no character development is fucking boring, and it fucking sucks.
Oh, it was absolutely boring as hell. Especially those scenes with the friends. Where they're all having
the most.
Where they're all having their awful, horribly paced, unreal fucking hipster conversations, and just, oh, look at these screenshots. You know what's artsy? We're gonna slice in pictures of nude chicks in there. That's life.
And not address it.
That's life. Oh no, it's addressed. You just don't get it.
I really hated when they were scooting around in the church pews, and like I remember they showed that in the ads as well. Like, that and him running away, like, look at this fucking wacky art film. It's just fucking stupid. Their characters were never doing anything like... I think they're supposed to be like, oh, look at how fun and wacky these guys are. They're just like obnoxious faggots that are still, like, mentally 16.
Well, their humor is just as unadulterated as their, like, life choices. Like, their humor is just, ooh, I'm gonna be quirky right now. I'm gonna go crazy. Look at me. I'm being so weird. And let's talk about let's talk about penises and talk about vagina.
Let's talk about your dick cheese, and then I'll fuck you.
And poop and hobo dicks. Oh, those clean hobo dicks. Fucking
dick semen. Wait, I fucked that. Hobo semen.
A Hoboken.
And Hadoken. I know the movie is supposed to be all these unlikable characters that are stuck in an arrested state of development. I know that's what the movie's supposed to be. Even so, it sucks. What you did with it sucks. You had a mildly interesting concept, and your execution bored me into a fucking coma and made Jeremy silent for 10 minutes.
If Silent Jeremy is occurring, then there's some shit went down.
Or I just owned you.
They had to have a fucking intervention and just speak to me and see if I was all right, because I stopped. I didn't talk for 3 years after watching this. These are the first.
You were catatonic, and Tim's character came in and combed your hair.
It started rubbing my eyebrows and pulling on my face, because just that's what he felt like doing. He just wants to. Dude, he's just trying. He's reaching out with his fucking. He just wants to corporeally feel these people. He's just, in any way possible, he wants to feel what a person is. That's probably what they were going for. That's probably their vision behind those stupid scenes.
I wish we could disagree on a movie for once. We just agree.
If we disagreed on this movie, it would be the end of our friendship.
Yeah, it would. Like, the only movie we've even slightly disagreed on was Django Unchained, and then we ultimately ended up agreeing in the end.
Right, and almost like unanimously with our overall opinion of like how it happened. Jesus Christ, man.
All right.
But let's put this piece of shit behind us forever.
I just want to forget that Tim and Eric did this, and Greg Turkington. All three of them I like. Everyone else can go fuck themselves.
Alvarez!
It's Alverson. Stop cursing the innocent Alvarez. Oh, okay. Well, I'll stop mine now.